The sky was burning. The stars vanished behind smoke and fire as the colony ship Ark Horizon fell toward the unknown planet. Inside the ship, alarms screamed. Lights flashed red. People shouted over each other. Captain Rena Carter gripped the control panel, her hands shaking. "We're going down," she said quietly. "Hold on." A huge explosion hit the side of the ship. The power went out, darkness, silence, then a crash. The Ark Horizon hit the planet's surface with a roar. Trees exploded, rocks flew into the air. The ground cracked beneath the weight of the ship. And then, silence again. Hours later, the survivors woke up slowly. There were 150 people alive out of 300. Some were hurt, some cried. But most just stared at the strange sky above them. It was purple, with two suns glowing high. The planet was not Earth. Rena stepped outside the broken ship. Breathing heavily through her oxygen mask, she looked around. Tall trees, black in color, with leaves that shimmered blue. The air was warm. A soft wind carried strange scents, flowers, chemicals. She couldn't tell. Dr. Malik, the lead scientist, walked beside her. "Oxygen is just enough to breathe without masks," he said. "But gravity feels different." "We're lucky to be alive," Rena whispered. "But are we safe?" They didn't know the answer. The colonists started setting up camp near the wreck. They used the ship's broken pieces to build shelters. They hunted small animals and found water in glowing blue streams. Everything on this planet looked alien yet beautiful, but something felt wrong. The nights were too quiet. No animal sounds, no wind. Only the soft buzz of unknown insects. Some people claimed they saw shadows moving near the trees. Others heard whispers when no one was around. One night, a boy named Theo went missing. They found his backpack near the forest. His footprints stopped suddenly, just vanished. "No blood, no struggle, no body. We are being watched," someone said. "By what?" No one had an answer. 3 weeks passed. The survivors grew used to the planet. Food was found and small gardens were planted. The air no longer made them dizzy. People laughed again sometimes, but Rena couldn't shake the feeling of danger. She often stood alone at night, staring into the forest. It felt like the trees were alive watching her. The stars above were different, but one star blinked red every 30 seconds. She had seen that star in old flight logs. It meant one thing, a warning beacon. Someone or something was warning others to stay away. One evening, a small group went deeper into the forest. They were looking for metal or tech from the ship's missing parts. The forest was dark even. During the day, light didn't seem to pass through the leaves. Then they saw it, a stone structure, ancient, half-covered in vines. It looked like a door, with glowing symbols across its surface. Not human dash made. Dr. Malik touched the door gently. "It's old. Thousands of years, maybe more." As he touched one of the glowing symbols, it pulsed once blue to red. Then silence. They didn't wait. They ran back to camp, hearts racing. That night, the wind blew stronger. And something moved at the edge of the camp. The next morning, guards reported something strange. "We found footprints," one said. "Big ones. Not human. 3 toes, clawed." "Where?" Rena asked. "Right outside the sleeping tents." Rena knew this wasn't just a survival mission anymore. They were not alone on this planet. And whoever or whatever lived here had now noticed them. "Keep everyone close," she ordered. "No one goes alone, ever." But it was already too late. Later that night, as the camp lights flickered, a low growl echoed through the trees. People froze. Weapons were raised, and then they saw them, 2 glowing eyes in the dark, tall, silent, watching, not human. Not friendly, asterisk darkness surrounded the camp. Everyone stood still, guns shaking in their hands. Eyes wide, the glowing eyes in the forest did not blink. They just stared. No one moved for almost a full minute. Then slowly the eyes disappeared into the trees without a sound. "What was that?" Someone whispered. "A predator? An alien?" No one answered. But fear had returned. The next morning, Captain Rena called a meeting. "We need to be ready," she said. "This planet is not empty." Dr. Malik nodded. "There is intelligence here." You all saw it. This was not an animal. A young woman named Hannah raised her hand. It didn't attack. It watched us, people murmured. Maybe it was curious. Maybe it was peaceful, or maybe it was planning. Still, no one could explain the footprints, or how they vanished into the ground like mist. That day, patrols were doubled. Watchtowers were built. But no one saw the glowing eyes again until the fifth night. Rain fell heavy on the camp, thick and cold. People hid inside shelters. Private Dax was on tower duty. He hated rain. He hated this planet. Then he saw it movement in the trees. He raised his flashlight. At first he saw nothing, then slowly a shape stepped forward. It was tall, taller than any human. Its skin was dark green, almost like tree bark. Thin arms. Long fingers, no mouth. Two glowing blue eyes stared calmly back at him. Dax froze. His finger sat on the trigger. But he didn't shoot. The alien raised one hand slowly open. Palm forward, a sign of peace. Then it stepped back into the trees and was gone. The next morning, Dax reported what he saw. He drew the hand gesture in the sand. It didn't come to fight, he said. It wanted to say hello. Some laughed. Some didn't believe him. But Rena didn't laugh. She remembered something. Back in the crashed ship, there was a translation tool. It was built for alien languages, just in case. She ordered Dr. Malik and Hannah to help her reactivate it. If this planet has intelligent life, she said, we must talk to them. 2 days passed. Then they came, not one but 3 aliens. They walked into the open field outside the camp. No weapons. No fear. They wore dark cloths made of plant fibers. Their eyes glowed softly in the sunlight. One held something in its hand, a stone with moving lights on it. Captain Rena and Dr. Malik walked out to meet them. Soldiers stood ready behind them. The aliens didn't speak. Instead, they touched the glowing stone. A low hum began. The air shimmered. Then a voice came, not from their mouths, but from the stone. We see you. We saw your fall. You are not of this world. Everyone froze. The voice was calm, but not human. Rena stepped forward. We mean no harm. We came by accident. Can you understand us? The alien touched the stone again. We understand. You are? Broken. You search for a place. This is not your place. Dr. Malik leaned forward. Who are you? We are the Nreal. The forest breathes with us. The land hears us. You do not hear, yet? A silence followed. The Nreal looked at the humans with deep curiosity, like scientists watching a new creature. Then, without warning, one Nreal stepped closer. Too close, the soldiers raised their rifles. Rena held up a hand. Stand down. The alien pointed at Hannah and tilted its head. This one dreams of light. Of roots, of the deep song. She is open, Hannah gasped. How do you know my dreams? The Nreal replied only with a soft sound like wind through trees. Then they turned and began to walk away. Rena called after them, Wait! What do you want from us? The answer floated through the air, to see if you change or if you break. Then they were gone. Back at camp, everything changed. People whispered about the Nreal. Some were afraid. Others were excited. They spoke through a rock. They read Hannah's mind. What does change or break mean? Dr. Malik was deep in study. Their biology is strange, he said. They are plant-like, yet they move like animals. And that stone, it's some kind of organic tech. Rena sat in silence. She looked at the sky, at the blinking red warning star. Why was this planet marked dangerous? And why were the Nreal so calm? That night, Hannah had another dream. She stood in a forest of light. The trees whispered her name. A hand reached out to her, not human. Not scary, gentle. When she woke, her fingers were glowing faintly blue. She said nothing, but she knew something had begun. Hannah stared at her hand. The blue glow was faint, almost like moonlight trapped under her skin. It pulsed softly with her heartbeat, then faded. She quickly covered it with her sleeve. No one else saw it, not yet, but she felt it. Something inside her was different. In the weeks after first contact with the Nreal, the camp was quieter, more careful. The humans worked during the day, hunting, farming, fixing damaged machines. But their eyes were always on the forest. The trees no longer felt empty. Something was always watching. Rena, the captain, kept strict rules. No one entered the woods alone. No one touched unknown plants. No one was to go near the glowing stone door found by the scouts weeks ago. But people still changed. It started small. One man, Elias, claimed he could hear trees whispering at night. Another, a teenage girl named Bree, said she could taste emotions. Sadness was bitter, joy was sweet. At first, Dr. Malik thought it was stress, maybe trauma. But then the scans came in. Human DNA was changing, very slowly. But clearly, there's something in the air, Malik explained to Rena. Not poison, not a virus, something else. Something alive, maybe even intelligent. Rena crossed her arms. Like a parasite? Maybe not a parasite, maybe a message or a gift. Rena didn't like that answer. Hannah avoided the medical scans. She didn't want them to see what she already knew. At night, her dreams were deeper. She heard voices, not scary, but old, full of knowledge. The forest spoke to her in colors. She saw roots glowing like veins beneath the ground. During the day, she touched a tree and felt its history. She knew when it was born how many storms it had seen, how many birds had rested in its branches. She told no one, but someone already knew. One afternoon, while collecting plants near the edge of the camp, Hannah saw them again, 3 real, standing silently between the trees. Their eyes glowed like blue fireflies. One of them stepped forward, the same one who had spoken to her before. It didn't use the stone this time. Instead, it placed a thin hand on her shoulder, and she understood, not in words, but in feelings, images, emotions. A transfer of thought? The real showed her a time long ago, another crash. Another species. They didn't listen. They tried to fight the planet, and the planet rejected them. Their bones still lay deep beneath the roots. Then the real showed her something new. A child, part human, part real. Born under twin suns, speaking to the forest and the stars. A bridge between 2 worlds. When the vision ended, then Real stepped back. Hannah was crying. She returned to camp and went straight to Rena. I need to tell you something, she said. But you won't believe it. Rena looked tired. Try me. And so Hannah told her everything. The dreams, the touch, the vision. The child. Rena didn't speak for a full minute. Finally, she said, Do you feel sick? No, Hannah said. I feel awake. Dr. Malik was called. He scanned Hannah's DNA. The results shocked even him. You have markers we've never seen before, he said. Your brain activity is off the charts. Your cells are cleaner. Like they're repairing themselves. What does that mean? Rena asked. It means she's becoming something new. That night, the camp divided. Some people saw Hannah as dangerous, a sign that the planet was taking control. Others saw her as a miracle. She's adapting, they said. Maybe we all should? A group of colonists secretly met under the broken wing of the ship. One of them whispered, What if this is the next step in evolution? What if Earth was the beginning, but this is home? Rena watched from a distance. Her people were changing. She couldn't stop it, and deep inside, a small part of her wondered, was Hannah right? The next morning, 2 more colonists showed signs of change, and Hannah had another dream. This time she saw herself holding a child. Its skin glowed softly. Its eyes were full of stars. It looked at her and spoke one word, not in English, not in real, but in something older. She didn't understand it, but she knew what it meant. Hope. Asterisk. The child was born at sunrise. The sky was soft orange, and the 2 suns rose behind the trees. Light poured through the leaves like gold rain. The camp was quiet, holding its breath. Inside a small shelter near the edge of the forest, Hannah held the baby in her arms. Its skin was pale with a soft shimmer. Its eyes, when they opened, glowed blue and green at once, like forest light mixed with starlight. It did not cry. It simply stared. Rena stood outside the shelter with Dr. Malik, silent. This shouldn't be possible, Malik said softly. Biology doesn't mix like this. Human and alien, completely different species. But it happened, Rena said. And now it's here. Malik looked down at his tablet, heartbeat strong, brainwaves very high. This child is something new. Word spread through the camp quickly, the first hybrid some people came to see. They brought food, gifts, and whispered blessings. Others kept their distance, watching with narrow eyes. This is not natural, one man said. We should report this to Earth if we ever contact them again, another replied. Earth left us. This planet saved us. Soon, people began calling the child by a name, Leora. It meant light in an old Earth language. In the days that followed, Leora grew fast. By her third day, she could sit up. By her fifth, she was already speaking soft words, a mix of English and something older. When she touched plants, they bloomed. When she sang, even sick animals stood again. Dr. Malik watched her carefully. She's not just a mix, he said. She's something above, smarter, stronger, kinder. Hannah smiled. She's what we're meant to become. Then Real returned, standing at the forest's edge. They did not enter the camp, but they bowed when they saw Leora. One of them, the same who had once touched Hannah's shoulder, spoke through the stone again. The seed grows. The soil accepts. The future is awake. Then they turned and vanished into the trees. That night, Leora stood under the stars. She pointed at the sky. Home, she said. Rena knelt beside her. Earth? Leora shook her head. Not Earth, not here. Between, a place where both can live. Rena felt a chill. What are you, little one? Leora smiled. I'm listening. The camp changed again. People began building differently. Instead of cutting trees, they asked Thenreal for help. Thenreal showed them how to grow shelter from living plants. The forest responded. Food grew faster, water was cleaner. Fewer people got sick. Some colonists who once feared the hybrids now asked, Can we change too? Dr. Malik began studying Thenreal closely. With their permission, he tested their cells, their language, even their memories. This planet connects. All life, he told Rena, not just through roots or wind. Through thought, through song, and the hybrids? They tune into it. Rena looked at Leora, now playing with small glowing insects in the air. She's the bridge, Rena whispered, between what we were and what we could be. But not. Everyone agreed. A small group called themselves the Purists. They believed Earth would return, and when it did, they had to remain fully human. They'll never accept hybrids, said their leader, Kroll Jensen. Earth will see them as a threat. One night, the Purists tried to take Leora. They entered Hannah's shelter quietly, but before they could touch her, the plants around the shelter came alive. Vines wrapped their arms. Roots held their legs. A deep sound vibrated through the ground like the forest growling. The Purists ran. Leora slept through it all. The next morning, Rena made a decision. She stood before the camp and said, This is not just a survival mission anymore. This is a birth. We are building something new. Anyone who wants to leave when rescue comes may go. But those who stay must respect this land and its people, all of its people. Most stayed quiet, but more than half nodded. Lior stood beside Hannah, holding her hand. The child turned to the crowd and said, The stars are watching. They're waiting to see who we become. Her voice was small, but every heart heard it. Later, in the quiet of night, Rena looked at the sky. The red blinking star still flashed in the distance. A message from Earth. Signal received. Rescue in 60 days. But Rena wasn't sure if she wanted to be rescued anymore. The message came through the old satellite dish, crackling, broken, but clear enough. This is Earth Command. Signal received. Rescue ship en route. Arrival in 60 days. Prepare for pickup. Warning, unauthorized genetic alteration detected. Further, contact may result in quarantine. Rena stood still as the words repeated. Dr. Malik leaned against the console, pale. They know about the hybrids. Outside the control tent, the sun was rising. The camp was just waking up, and everything had changed again. Word spread fast. Some people cheered. Earth is coming. We're going home. Others didn't smile. They looked at Leora playing by the glowing stream, and then at Hannah, who now had the same quiet glow in her eyes. Home didn't feel like Earth anymore. By nightfall, the camp had split. On one side, the Earthborn, those who believed returning to Earth was the only future. On the other, the New Bloods, those who believed the planet had given them a second chance, a better way. They met in the main clearing. Tension thick in the air. Cole Jensen stepped forward. He was Earthborn, strong, loud, proud. We were sent to colonize, not mutate. Look at us. Glowing eyes, mind-reading, alien babies. Earth will never accept this. Hannah held Leora close. She is not a mutation. She is life, new life. She belongs here. We all do. Dr. Malik raised a hand. Leora is not dangerous. She's healing the land. She's healing us. You've all seen it. A woman from Earthborn shouted, "And Earth! We'll burn her for it." Silence fell. Even the Nreel at the edge of the trees watched quietly. After the meeting, people packed their things. Lines were drawn. Earthborn rebuilt parts of the ship's wreckage, made signals, cleaned landing space. New Bloods moved deeper into the forest. They slept in living huts, grew food with Nreel guidance, and listened to the forest. At night, the air was filled with singing soft, wordless tones that came from the trees, the wind, and the hybrids. Even some Earthborn couldn't help listening. Captain Rena didn't choose a side, not yet. She watched everything carefully, quietly. Her journal filled with notes. Leora speaks to plants now. The Nreel bow to her like a queen. Some adults are changing faster. DNA is syncing with the planet. She had one question written again and again. If Earth takes us back, what happens to the New Bloods? Day 37.LIO stop speaking. Not out of fear, but focus. She spent hours sitting in the forest, hands on the ground, listening, feeling, learning. Hannah said she was in tune with the planet. Dr. Malik believed she was preparing for something. She's growing beyond us, he whispered. She sees a future we can't. Day 45. A second message came from Earth. Prepare all surviving humans for pickup. Planet classified as level red, biohazard. Hybrids not authorized for transport. Repeat, hybrids will be quarantined or terminated. The camp froze. People cried. Some fell silent. Rena crushed the message unit in her hand. That night, Leora spoke again. She stood before both camps. Her voice soft but powerful. I dreamed of a city in the stars, she said, made of earth stone and forest light. It was not in space, it was here. She looked at the children of both camps. You do not have to choose fear. You can build something new, together. Then she touched the ground. It pulsed beneath everyone's feet. The forest glowed gently, like a heart. And in that light even the most afraid felt peace. Cole Jensen didn't feel peace. He stood by the signal dish, watching the stars. His hands shook with anger. He whispered, "If Earth won't save us, I'll force it to." He began working on a new signal one Earth couldn't ignore. A warning. A lie. Day 52. A fire broke out near the New Blood huts. It spread fast. People ran. Nreel appeared, forming walls of water from the air. Leora walked through the smoke, untouched. Trees bent away from the flames. She placed her hand on a burning root. The fire stopped. In the ashes, they found the source, a small device, human-made, with Cole Jensen's ID, a bomb. Rena called another meeting. This time, she stood beside Leora. Anyone who brings harm to this world again will not be protected. She turned to Cole, now silent and surrounded. You want Earth? Wait for them. But you don't speak for all of us. In the shadows, one of the Nreel stepped forward. It placed a seed in Rena's hand. The planet has chosen. Now you must choose. Rena looked at the seed. It pulsed softly in her hand like a heartbeat. She closed her fingers around it. I have. Asterisk. The seed pulsed in Rena's palm like a tiny heartbeat. It was smooth, glowing with a soft green light, warm like sunlight on skin. It didn't look powerful. But when the Nreel placed it in her hand, something shifted. The wind paused. The trees leaned forward. The air thickened as if the planet itself had taken a breath. This is not just a seed, the Nreel had said. It is a key. But a key to what? Rena didn't sleep that night. She sat outside the control tent, holding the seed and staring at the blinking star in the Sky-Earth signal beacon. It flashed every 30 seconds, cold, unfeeling, the voice of a world that had abandoned. them and now demanded their return? She looked down at the seed. It pulsed again, and for the first time she heard something, a voice, faint, deep, not male, not female, ancient, awaken. At dawn, Leora came to her. The child's eyes had changed again, now swirling with faint gold. Her presence felt heavier now, like gravity bent around her. "You're ready," Leora said softly. "For what?" Rena asked. "To hear it speak." They walked beyond the forest, past the glowing rivers, past the old crash site, into the valley where no one went, the land marked dangerous on every scan. There, hidden behind vines and stone, was the glowing door the scout team had once discovered. Now it was open. Inside, a spiral staircase led down into the earth. The walls were covered in ancient carvings, Nuriel symbols, and others that no one could read. But Leora touched them like she had seen them 1,000 times. At the bottom, a chamber of light. A crystal sat in the center, taller than any human, pulsing with the same rhythm as the seed. Rena stepped forward. The moment she touched the crystal, the world disappeared. She stood in a field of stars. No up, no down, just light. A voice filled the space. The same voice from the night before, clearer now. "You have come far. You fell, but you rose. You listened when others screamed. You gave birth to balance." Rena didn't understand. "What are you?" The voice answered. "I am this planet. I am thought and root and memory. I am not a god. I am a gardener. I plant futures." She saw flashes, millions of years passing in seconds. Other species arriving. Some lived, some burned, some vanished. Then came the humans and the hybrids, the first species to truly hear the planet. "Why us?" Rena asked. The voice pulsed through her bones. "Because you adapt, you love, you break, and rebuild." Then the voice showed her something else. Earth, a city with metal skies, children with gray skin, a war over water, a council voting to erase unfit colonies. She saw the rescue ship, already halfway through space. Its orders marked in red. "Secure survivors, eliminate hybrids. Destroy contaminated life forms." Rena gasped. "No." The voice spoke again. "You must choose. Join the stars that forget, or root yourself and grow." Rena closed her eyes and chose. When she opened them, she was back in the chamber. Leora stood nearby, calm. "You heard it," Leora said. Rena nodded. "Yes, I did." She opened her hand and placed the seed into the crystal's base. The chamber lit up with waves of color: green, blue, gold. The air trembled. The walls vibrated with song. All across the valley, plants bloomed. The rivers glowed brighter. And in the hearts of every human and real nearby, the voice echoed, "Welcome." Back at camp, the change was immediate. Children who had never shown signs of connection now whispered to trees. Water turned sweeter. Crops doubled in size. Wounds healed faster. Some Earthborn watched in silence. Others dropped their tools and walked into the forest, joining the new bloods with quiet tears in their eyes. Dr. Malik looked up from his tablet and whispered, "It's no longer evolution. It's transformation." But in the distance, a shadow grew. The rescue ship was almost here. Day 59. The camp gathered in the main clearing. Everyone, Earthborn, New Blood, Nriel, stood together. Rena stood before them. She wore no weapon. Number. Badge, only a robe made of woven vines and cloth, gifted by the Nriel. "We have 1 day left," she said. "1 day before Earth arrives. They will not understand. They will fear what we've become. But we do not meet fear with fear. We meet it with truth." Leora stepped forward. "I will speak to them," she said. "They won't listen to soldiers, but they might listen to something new." As night fell, the stars glowed bright. The blinking Earth beacon was gone. In its place, a ship entered orbit, large, cold, armed. The final day had come. The Earth rescue ship entered the sky like a scar. It moved slowly over the forest, dark and silent, blocking the sunlight as it cast a cold shadow across the land. The ship's surface was smooth, gray metal, clean, perfect, and heartless. Cameras scanned every inch of the ground below. Inside the ship, Commander Ulrich stood at the control panel. He had never set foot on this planet, but his orders were clear: recover survivors, eliminate genetic threats, cleanse and return. His eyes narrowed at the first readings. DNA irregularities confirmed. Alien-human hybrids detected. His voice was calm when he gave the next command: send the drones. Down below, the camp was ready. No weapons. No walls. No soldiers, only people standing together, human, hybrid, and real side by side. Captain Rena stood at the front, Hannah beside her, and in the center, glowing softly, was Leora. The child had grown, not in size, but in presence. Her eyes were galaxies now? Her voice echoed even when she whispered. As the drones dropped from the sky, metal spheres scanning with red lights. No one ran. No one screamed. They stood still. Leora stepped forward. High above, inside the Earthship, Commander Ulrich watched the live feed from the drones. He saw the child approach. He frowned. She's not pure human. No, sir, replied the technician. She's something else. Then remove her. The drones powered their weapons. Red lights blinked. Targets locked, but just before they could fire, Leora raised her hand, and everything stopped. Not exploded. Not shut down. Stop. The drones froze mid-air, suspended like toys. Their lights faded. Their weapons powered down. Around them, the wind rose. The trees swayed like dancers, and the sky, for a moment, glowed green. Then a voice filled the air, not just in sound, but in thought. It was the planet, speaking through her. We do not fear you, but we will not be broken. Commander Ulrich staggered. He clutched his head as the voice filled the ship, every console, every screen, not loud, but undeniable. Every crew member heard it. Every sensor lit up with readings they couldn't explain. What is this? One whispered, a consciousness. Another said, the planet is alive. Ulrich tried to issue the attack order, but his voice failed, and then Leora appeared, not in person but in every monitor on the ship. She stood calm, wrapped in vines and light. She spoke with a voice that was more than hers. We are the new. Not a threat, not a weapon, a choice. On the ground, people watched the ship hover. No missiles came. No soldiers landed. Instead, the ship sent one pod down. It opened with a hiss. Inside was a message unit. Simple, blinking. Rena stepped forward and picked it up. It played a final message. Commander Ulrich's voice. We were wrong. Earth is not ready, but maybe one day we are leaving. Your path is your own. May it grow? And just like that, the ship turned. It rose higher and higher, then vanished into the stars. The forest cheered in its own way. Birds called, leaves shimmered, and the rivers sparkled brighter. No war. No blood. Only peace. Days passed, then weeks. The camps dissolved. Earthborn and new blood no longer mattered. There was only one people now. Then human. Leora continued to grow. She became the first of a new kind of child who could speak with the stars and the soil, who could guide life instead of control it. The Nrio became teachers. The humans became creators. Together, they built New Haven, not a city of metal, but of light and breath. The shelters grew like trees. The walls sang when touched. Water flowed where it was needed. And the people changed gently, willingly. No pain. No force. Just becoming. Captain Rena no longer wore a title. She tended to a garden grown from the seed. The Nrio gave her. In it bloomed flowers that whispered stories when touched. One of them was shaped like a star. Dr. Malik taught children in a round school made of glass roots. He called it the first circle. Hannah raised Leora in the heart of the village. But soon it was clear Leora was being raised by the whole world. Years passed. A new ship arrived from Earth. Not to rescue, but to learn. They landed carefully, respectfully, waiting for permission. Leora, now older, met them at the edge of the forest. She welcomed them, not as enemies, but as guests. And far below, in the deep roots of the planet, the voice spoke again, not in warning, but in joy. The garden grows.